in her article, Linda Zabzebski is going to ask us to think really differently about epistemology and what should be the focus of our epistemological explorations. And I think it's important, and she makes this comparison, but I think it's important for us to highlight how she sort of gets here, gets this new way of thinking of things. And a large part of the way she gets there is by thinking about the relationship between moral theories and epistemological theories, morality in epistemology or ethics in epistemology. And so she wants to portray them as similar kinds of domains, morality and epistemology. They're both what we call normative theories, not descriptive ones. That is, they're concerned with how things should be, with reasons, right and wrong, duty, justification, goodness. Those are all notions that seem to apply to some extent to normative domains like morality, but also like epistemology. Now, she's going to be a little worried about how some of these apply to epistemology, but the important part is that epistemology is not a study of a sort of scientific or descriptive study of what we in fact believe. It's a study of what our beliefs should be like, or what we should be like as believers. So it is a normative discipline, not a descriptive one. This is just like morality is not a study of what we in fact do, a scientific study of our behavior. Rather, it's a study maybe of how we should behave, or what we should be like as actors, as people who act. Now, in the history, this is kind of a popular position nowadays to relate ethics and epistemology, or morality and epistemology, very closely. But in the history of philosophy, moral theories and epistemological theories were thought of quite separately. They were thought to be separate domains. And metaphysics and epistemology are usually sort of grouped together as similar disciplines, whereas morality is grouped differently. Morality is often lumped together with social, political, and aesthetic philosophy. And if this doesn't come clear to you from the history of philosophy you studied, maybe you haven't taken history of philosophy yet, you can see it. It's even sort of encoded in the philosophy major requirements at Colgate. We require you to have one sort of upper level course, 300 level course in what we call metaphysics and epistemology. And that includes courses like this one in epistemology you're taking, also metaphysics, also philosophy of language, philosophy of mind. And that contrasts with the so-called value theory requirement. That applies to contemporary moral theory, also social, political philosophy, aesthetics. These kind of classes fall under that. So we even see this distinction that's been brought down from the history of philosophy today in our curriculum at Colgate, which I think is pretty interesting. But I think Zagzebski wants us to think of things differently, as we said before, that moral philosophy and epistemology are thought of as sort of different parts of normative philosophy in general. One's the study of the normative aspects of acting, one's a study of the normative aspects of believing, so maybe how we should act and what we should believe, ethics and epistemology, or she's going to think of it more this way, what an actor should be like and what a believer should be like. And so this is common in philosophy today, though it hasn't worked itself into the way we think about it in the curriculum. But recently, people have tried to borrow theories and concepts from moral philosophy and apply them to epistemology, and a little bit of vice versa. And that's what she's doing. She's borrowing concepts and theories from moral epistemology and trying to apply them, moral philosophy, and trying to apply them to epistemology.